evening, good evening, good evening. Hey up. Well, welcome to what is a lovely evening here in a very, very nice, as always, South Yorkshire. Well, like I say, it's been an interesting week, as always. First of all, we have, local election, as is the good stuff. Oh, hi there, that's unexpected. Hiya, evening from Finland, evening to you. Good evening from me, good evening to you as well. Yes, it's a bit unexpected, but since, well, you weren't going to get a good morning walk on Saturday, I was far too hungover. far too hungover on Saturday to do it. Like I say, I was at a friend's wedding do, and well, I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed myself. But as they always say, we can get out and we can have an evening walk, Just going to be careful, when the sun sets. Like I say, we don't want to be out here with no torch to wander around. Lovely evening in Yorkshire. Yes, it is indeed a very, very lovely evening. It's been a very nice day today. So just finished clearing up from a barbecue. Had a couple of friends around this evening. Had a barbecue today, and yeah, it's been all good. Yeah, I can't complain. It's been nice. It's been a nice weekend. Didn't look like it was. Certainly looked that way, like it was going to be a nice weekend to begin with, but no, it's turned out very well. Sunset in Yorkshire is 8:22. Well, looks like we're going to speed run this. We'll speed run this if necessary. Yes, could be interesting, as they say. So, stock is that? Oh, oh. There we go. Zoomed in, zoomed out, zoomed all around. Looked a bit close, but there we go. Yeah. Oh, there we go. But yeah, it's been a weird week, and mostly because, of course, the local elections, of course, Parliament being closed. There hasn't been a lot. Have you been to the doc about that persistent cough? No, to be honest, it's gone. It's sort of gone now. I'm one of those people, when I get a cough, it does take a while for it to go sometimes, but it's gone now, so can't complain about that. Your mother's nursing genes are flaring up. No, like I say, I'm fine now. So yeah, but I always sort of have that type of stuff. But yeah, anyway. Oh yes. So yeah, it's been a weird week in terms of politics, obviously because of sort of the local elections. Parliament's closed. Obviously, Partygate has had a massive effect on certainly the local Tories, and I will tell you this now. I do sit very sneakily in a couple of, shall we say, local private Tory groups, and they are not happy bunnies. The grassroots are not happy. And to say that the mood is that they've been sacrificed would pin it exactly what they are feeling at this moment in time. So we'll have to see how all this goes. Feedback from the doorstep for Tories must have been blistering. Yeah, I would not, if I was a Tory supporter and I was like wanting to support, my party at, local elections, etc. This would certainly be one time I would not want to go out canvassing. This is absolutely certain. I would not want to go out canvassing for the Tories at this point. It must have been absolutely brutal. Oh, nice heating from Edinburgh. You might be tempted to head out again yourself. Oh, good. Like I say, you should always go head out on a nice walk. It's always good bit of exercise for you. Local Tories, grow. If you are a Tory fundamentalist, we are the Tories, so vote for us. If you aren't, we have nothing to do with those full reprobates in Westminster. Yeah, that was very much the message. A lot of local Tories were trying to send. Like I say, we saw a lot of leaflets being put out, and of course there was the guy, I can't remember where he was standing, but he made himself look like a Green Party candidate rather than a Tory candidate, and of course that was a big no-no. Greetings from a soon-to-be Big Island, indeed. Greetings to you. Like I say, obviously one of the things we were waiting on, of course, was the results from Northern Ireland. Those came in yesterday, and it was pretty much as had been predicted, that Sinn Féin would win the biggest share of the votes, and of course the DUP came in second. Ultimately, things are going to get interesting now, because the DUP, the DUP are going to start throwing out their toys out with the pram. And not just the toys, they're going to try and throw the whole pram with them as well. They are not happy, and they have basically stated that unless the protocol goes, they aren't entering power sharing, which, well, certainly creates a crisis. And we'll have to see how that goes, because it could essentially just be with, again, how the rules are for Stormont in Northern Ireland. If they haven't got a power sharing agreement, I think it's 6 weeks to begin with, and then I think they can have another couple of extensions, so that becomes 24 weeks at that point. So unless something gets really sorted out, and to be honest, I doubt the DUP want to play ball, or unless Sinn Féin are going to make some serious concessions to like the DUP in something or in another way. I don't see the power sharing agreement going ahead. I really do not see it going ahead. And of course that triggers a border poll. No, well, it doesn't actually trigger a border poll. And again, border polls got to be agreed by both sides. One side just can't declare it, of course. Both sides have to agree, which again, with Sinn Féin being in power on both sides, does certainly seem like it. Obviously then a border poll will happen, and then of course Ireland will be reunited, as they say. So ultimately, if you're an Irish Republican, you've certainly had a lot to celebrate this weekend, but by no means does it guarantee a border poll is going to happen, because well, the DUP could basically come in and say, look, we'll only enter a power sharing agreement with you if you say you're not going to do a border poll. Could very, very easily say and do that. We'll have to tell. But yeah, things are going to get interesting in Northern Ireland. Very, very interesting. And of course, you've obviously got to worry about what, well, shall we say the armed groups are going to be involved, because again, there are unionists, paramilitaries in Northern Ireland, and as we've said before, if Northern Ireland does sort of reunite, the sectarian violence over there is going to end, not by a long shot. So that is going to cause at least some significant problems, and then of course, well, officially it becomes the Irish Republic's sort of problem, I suppose, if you will. It depends how they're going to deal with it. So yeah, things are going to get very, very interesting. Very, very interesting in Ireland. That's for certain. I mean, yeah, you are right. The DUP are really angry at, the unionists. But it comes to a point where you're like, they've only got themselves to blame. They, they have all that, that anger that happens, and it's yeah, that is right. That is the question. Obviously there's a lot of people that do want that united Ireland, but you are right. Southern Ireland might not be, so we say, so eager to bring in 1 million Protestants into what is a very overwhelming Catholic country. And obviously this actually brings up another very interesting question, because if you do sort of add the DUP into the mix of, well, essentially, obviously Ireland is proportional representation, the DUP would make up something like 12%. I mean, it's like 12 to 14%, I think it is. I can't remember the exact number now, but it's somewhere around there from what I remember. That would create a somewhat substantial power block in the Irish Parliament. And obviously the DUP are quite Catholic when it comes, they're Protestants, but you get what I'm trying to say. They're quite fundamentalist when it comes to religion, and there is a serious situation that they might actually ally. Certainly needs to ally themselves with some other parties down in the south, and then that in itself might cause some problems, because now you would have quite a serious sort of religious bloc that could potentially form in Northern Ireland. So again, there's a lot of people that haven't taken that into account through the unification of that. And again, it would certainly make politics interesting in Northern Ireland. And as we've been saying very recently, we've been talking about the Heritage Foundation and on their quest obviously to get abortion bans, not just in America, but targeting places here in the UK as well, and in Ireland. And of course, the DUP might be, well, perfect to give a whole lot of money to. And put it this way, it could make Irish politics very, very interesting, to say the least. But again, that is very much crystal ball gazing, as to have to see. So we'd have to see. But yeah, we are going to have to see what happens in Northern Ireland, because no one knows. It's all entirely, the ball, as they say, is literally in the DUP's court. And it is essentially up to them what they do next. But they have made it clear they are not going to return. They are not going to return to Stormont unless the Northern Ireland Protocol is gone. Which, well, how do you proceed then? Obviously, with the case in Northern Ireland, like I say, it doesn't make sense unless you have a land border, but then you break the Good Friday Agreement, you know, not to have a land border. It's very, very, becomes very, very interesting. But yeah, under the Constitution rules, the DUP would only have 12 to 13 seats in all 260 seats in Ireland. Parliament, which 60 would be in Northern Ireland. There's still going to be quite an electoral force. This is what what should be quite worrying about it all. But we'll have to see. Hello. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Yeah. But it does become like I say, the more you think about, obviously the history of Northern Ireland, the more worrying it becomes. It really does. It's, how do you solve the problem of Northern Ireland? And I'm not going to lie, I think a lot of Brexiteers will be very, very happy to, sacrifice Northern Ireland if it means they can get their precious Brexit. I think that is very, very likely. They really do not care what is going on in that area. They don't care about what the community is or anything like that. In fact, as we've made the case before, because the Northern Ireland Protocol is working in Northern Ireland, and as we've seen reported on a number of occasions, Northern Irish businesses are booming compared to their counterparts elsewhere in the UK. Why is that? Because they're still in the customs union, they're still in the single market. And that's one of the things the Tories hate, because then that area can then be used as a case study. Look how well Northern Ireland is doing. Look how well the rest of the country is doing. They do not want that to happen. So they would be very, very happy to get rid of Northern Ireland from the Union. And that's why they're so against the protocol. That's why they want to get rid of it. Because they do not want anyone realising how good Northern Ireland is being in all this, when you compare it to the rest of the UK. Again, this is where, because of all this causes other problems. This has the potential to really start flaring, sectarial problems over there. Obviously, if you live in Northern Ireland or are over there, then you obviously know very full well about the troubles and what goes on up there. And even now, obviously, the very strong feelings between, the communities of the Protestant communities and even the Catholic communities up there in Northern Ireland. People don't realise just how strong that emotion is up there, still to this day. It worries me, it really does. The fact all this has happened because, again, the Brexiteers said back in 2016, oh, Northern Ireland, not going to be a problem. So, yeah. I am sort of at a loss for words, really, what to say about what's going on, but none of it's unfortunately going to be good. And as we said just a few moments ago, it's all in the DUP's hands, and that, given what they are saying, doesn't bode well. It doesn't bode well. Yeah, in 2016 they said only Auto4 would leave the single market. Yep, look where we are now. So as I always said, they spread the widest net they could, so they could get the most votes that they could, so that eventually they could have a proper Brexit. This is what makes me laugh when they say, oh, we're not getting a proper true Brexit. Well, in 2016 you never told the people what a true and proper Brexit was. In fact, you lied and said that leaving the European Union would also mean that we'll be staying in the single market and customs union. That did not happen. And this has been done by essentially a very, very small minority in Parliament who just want their libertarian dreams to come true. And the quicker we can end this Tory majority, the better. Which brings us on to our next topic. Oh dear. Yeah, we can be like Norway. Indeed. Of course, you bring this up to Brexiteers, or shall we be like Norway? No. No. Oh dear. But yeah, an interesting case indeed. And of course, we've already, I don't know if you've seen the news, I think it was yesterday when it came out, the news about the Australian trade deal. So looks like we will now be importing lower standards animal products into this country, again thanks to the deal that, well, that Boris Johnson and Liz Truss and Trevelyan have signed to, well, basically lower our standards. And the thing is, if you lower standards from one country, another country is going to want that as well. And if you may remember, all those farmers saying, you've basically put a stop clock on how long British farming is going to last. Oh, Gonzo, hello from Italy. What's that? Tories held North Yorkshire. Say not sure of the rest. Yeah, well, again, North Yorkshire is a very, very Tory area. Always has very much predominantly been. That's where the posh people of Yorkshire live. It's like in Barnsley. You know, Barnsley is very, very much Labour, but the two Penistone council seats that are out there always go to the Conservatives, because that's where the posh people of Barnsley live. And they always vote Conservative. But another thing is, before we go on to really talking about local elections and whatnot, I again really want to give a bit of praise to, did they at least see a dip in support? Yes, they did. There were dips in Conservative support everywhere. That is without a doubt. And I think when we get the final full numbers in it, that we'll just see how deep that support actually ran. Of course, people changing, people not going out to vote. Remember, these local council elections were not that very well attended. My own constituency, the average was around 23%. The average across Barnsley who voted, that's nothing. Like 23% of the people who are registered to vote didn't go out and vote. So that is, you know, that's nothing. Absolutely nothing. And in fact, again, I want to, just because again I'm getting sidetracked, I really want to, you know, give this guy some praise, because I think if you've got the Green Party candidate in my ward, Tom Hayes, by himself, no help, didn't have any extra support or anything like that, was out door knocking constantly in my ward. And of course, Labour won my ward with 900 and it was 900 and something, 950 votes, something like that. Which is, again, you know, 950 votes, you know, not bad. What they normally get. But then, of course, you had the Green Party, who came second in my ward, out of nowhere. And again, it was the guy who was running there, doing all that, going out, doing the door knocking, dropping the leaflets, talking with people on the doorstep, constantly doing the hard work. Like, seriously, you know, he did the hard work. And I'll tell you what, paid off. Yeah, he came in second, and I always say, you know, in politics, there's really no prize for second place, and you know, that's right. But I'll tell you what, he did a damn good job. A damn good job. He got 745 votes from that ward, and I'll tell you what, he came in second. I'll tell you what, that's a damn good job. But it's, as I've always been saying to people, you've got to go out there, you've got to go out, do the door knocking, do the leaflet dropping, you know, it works. You know, it works. You've got to be willing to put the hard work in. And one of the things I was saying even before, obviously, the local elections, was that the left needed to get, needs to get organised. Needed to go out there and really give Boris, you know, a bloody nose. They could have gone out there, started campaigning to get people registered to vote, get them out to vote, you know, anyone but the Tories, or at least organise and say, right, this is who can win this ward, this is who can win this ward. You know, they could have done that, and there was no big national coordination. But there is people out there who can do that, and they did nothing with it at all. It was really, really depressing not to see that. So, Make of that what you will. But of course, as always, the malcontents have been out in force this weekend, saying that even though we had historic wins at a local council election, taking Wandsworth, Westminster, Barnet, was it Barnet? I can't remember now, but just Wandsworth and Westminster alone were fantastic wins, for Labour. And they were also, remember, defending the most seats of the night. They had the most to lose out of any other party, even the Conservatives. And they didn't lose, they gained. So there's so much stuff that they could have done. They could have done on so many levels. And, it's a victory that does deserve to be celebrated. But of course, again, the malcontents among them saying, this isn't a victory. This is nothing. This is terrible. Labour are on course to defeat. But no, this result was a really good one for Labour. And remember, the next general election is get the goddamn Tories out. So one of the things that they should be praising is the fact that if united together, the Labour, the Lib Dems and Greens can absolutely wipe the floor with the Tories at the next general election. We should be now, all members of those three political parties should be making a major push, because again, the next the next lot of conferences are coming up. We should be making a major push to have a proper, electoral pact. And last night, and at those local elections, that's what we were seeing. We saw Labour take the lion's share of the majority votes, coming in second place, and then in third or fourth, you have the Lib Dems. So there's going to be a lot of people out there who have got to learn, if you really want to get rid of the Tories at the next general election, which is really, really goddamn important that we have to, you might have to vote Labour. Again, suck it up, buttercup. But you may not like Keir Starmer, but he's put Labour back into a very good winning position. And not a lot of people on the left are going to like hearing that, but it's the truth. Like it or not, that's the pattern. And unless we actually get united on that track, then we ain't going to have anything. Yeah, Keir Starmer equals Hillary Clinton. Yeah, and look what happened there. Look what happened in America. You've got the potential repealing of Roe v. Wade. Guys on the left, you may not like them. You may not like Keir Starmer, but it's the only way to beat the Tories, certainly in many areas. And what boggles my mind is that you've got the Lib Dems with their platform, who are arguably economically certainly a lot closer to the Tories than than Labour is. For some reason they're fine. The Greens, again, not a massive electoral force at a local election. There's going to be a lot of people just say, I'm just going to vote Green for reasons, and not really think of that. And that's, again, like I say, I'm going to spend the next 2 years I'm going to spend the next 2 years literally banging this drum, going on about this. But do not say about that about Keir Starmer. Northern media wouldn't be confused. Well, Northern media is wrong. You know, Keir Starmer and Angela Rayner, Rachel Reeve, Ed Miliband have put forward some really good progressive policies. You know, to do with like the green economy. Rachel Reeve would be the most greenest chancellor we've ever had. But of course, none of that cares because, I want socialism. And here's the thing, guys. I agree with many of the things that they say about, about wanting socialism in sort of different forms. I'm very much a soc dem, a social democrat when it comes to it. And I want, to bring serious change. But unfortunately, as we always say, when it comes to this, Labour, under our current voting system, has to be a big tent party. We cannot cater for everything and everyone as much as we would like to. And it sucks. But in politics, if you can get 30 or 40% done, it's better than getting 100% of nothing, like at the moment, under the Tories. Oh, thank you very much, Cathal OG. Starmer is a former chief prosecutor. He should be eating Starmer alive. Is he biding his time? Put it this way, Starmer has had some good appearances at PMQs. I've argued, others have argued, he should be going in on Johnson a lot harder than he has been. And I agree. I'm not 100%, a Starmer fan. Neither was I, 100% a Corbyn fan. But I recognise that a Labour Party would be a far, far better party, doing far, far better things with their policies and the stuff that they've been saying that they want to do, put in place, would be far, far better. Fantastic. This is why the Wakefield by-election is just become, in like order of importance and magnitude, it has ballooned how important that by-election is. This is what I've said this since Keir Starmer came in, and people are going, I don't know what Keir Starmer stands for. I don't know what Keir Starmer stands for. And guess what? I'll agree. I don't know what Keir Starmer stands for either. But this is a chance to do that, to put out a Labour manifesto, and just for the next 2 years, just run with it. Campaign on it. Say this is what a Labour government would do. Or, put forward that progressive alliance idea. So, like, reforming the voting system with, like, PR would be fantastic. That will be a massive vote winner. It's not the first time we have argued on the Good Morning Walk. This is a Good Evening Walk. It's not the first time we have argued on one of these live streams, saying to you, we need to release a manifesto. We need to do it now. Because Boris Johnson has said he's going to spend the next 2 years in campaigning mode. So too could Labour. Put out a manifesto. And don't be afraid to change it if necessary, That's what they need to do. And especially if they want to get a hold of Wakefield. Because I'll tell you now, if it's close, the malcontents, people like Owen Jones, will not see that as some sort of as some sort of victory, they will go, ha, this wasn't a victory, this wasn't even close to a victory. You know, we need to win by a really big margin on that. And yes, that's very true. We need to be more positive about policies, not just negative about the Tories. Very true, Mark. Very true. Yeah, wouldn't you want rid of corrupt Tories from the Parliament? Yeah, exactly. What happens after Lizzie Wittenberg decapitates Boris? I'm intrigued. Well, we'll have to see. Apparently, Liz Truss might become the Chancellor if this rumour of a cabinet reshuffle comes about. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But that's something definitely to watch. So yes, thank you all for joining me on this very sort of impromptu good evening walk. Like I say, plans and whatnot, other stuff gets in the way. But of course, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've had an absolute fantastic weekend, and I hope that you're looking forward to your week, that you've got stuff planned, that you can have all sorts of fun, whatever. And we'll see you obviously during the week as well. We'll have be having some videos out as always. We'll have our Wednesday live stream hopefully back on schedule, and of course we'll see you all next time for another good morning walk.